Welcome to the August 2021 edition of the RGN C64 Roundup, your concise summary covering today's Commodore 64 scene. Let's start off with a feature presentation. Retaliate DX, developed by Marcelo Cabra, is a multi-level shooter high-score chaser with a unique concept. Unlike most other classic shooters where you have an unlimited amount of ammo, Retaliate DX changes things up by giving you no bullets at the start, and you have to use your energy shield to collect bullets from alien enemies so that you can retaliate. From time to time, the enemy will send bombs in your direction, which you can also capture and fire back by pushing the joystick in the up direction. Enemies shot down with bombs attract more points to your total score. The energy shield can also be used to destroy aliens, though you'll get less points with this method. Energy shields are activated by pulling the joystick in the down direction, but you need to take care when using it, as it does run out of energy when it is deployed, and if it runs empty while you're in the process of collecting bullets or destroying enemies, then it'll be game over. Retaliate DX is a reimagining of the original Retaliate game for the mobile Roku TV. A more basic version of the port was released back in 2018, but Marcelo has teamed up with RGCD and a couple of today's prolific C64 developers to produce a greatly improved version. Retaliate DX features 7 levels, each containing a number of waves of attack, including this asteroid section where your only mode of defense is to weave and dodge your way through, as your shield cannot sustain a hit from large rocks. From time to time, the alien enemy will send down an infinity missile. Absorb this and then you can play the game as a standard shooter for a little while, providing you with a great opportunity to boost your score. Before starting the game, in addition to allowing you to choose a difficulty level, Retaliate DX provides you with the ability to customize the color of your ship and its shield. Additional ships are unlocked as you accumulate 1000 points or more on each of the difficulty settings, and it's a nice touch that adds replay value to the game. You're also given the option to play the game with a Super Nintendo controller, but to do this you'll need a Texelec adapter that plugs into the user port. If you happen to have purchased the full boxed edition of Attack of the Petsky Robots, which came with the Super Nintendo adapter, then you can use this with Retaliate DX as well. The action gameplay within Retaliate DX gets more frantic as you progress through the levels, and is sure to provide a sturdy challenge on the higher difficulty settings. The game moves about well, the graphics are quite vibrant, and there's no mistaking the SID version of the thumping original soundtrack. After each game, you're provided with mission statistics showing your score, the number of items you've collected, along with the number of enemies destroyed. If you see the game through to the end, then you're rewarded with an achievement medal. And don't forget, scoring 1000 points or more allows you to unlock a new ship. Development on Retaliate DX has more or less been completed for some time now, and is awaiting RGC cartridge release, hopefully not too long after the Northern Hemisphere summer holidays. Let's see what great pixel art has been unleashed of late. Time to check out some of the more notable news items to hit the scene of late. Antonio Savona has released a new trailer for A Pig Quest, showing off the 3rd level, and there's no doubt that a majority of you watching this video will be salivating at the quality of its graphics. What I quite like about this trailer is that there is a couple of subtle nods to L'Abri d'Amour, a game that Savona released through Double Sided Games in 2019. Just to remind you all, the primary objective of each level is to find 6 fragments of a statue and return them to the village. Level 3 looks to introduce new enemies, a mystical hammer to be used as a weapon, and a mode of transport for a pick hero to use. We also get to meet the King of the Kingdom and his daughter, who will both play a fundamental role in the later levels. Icon 64 has revealed a little more footage on their upcoming title Terrestrial, a sci-fi war-themed game consisting of a number of mini-shooter game variants. In addition to showing off their front-end screen with what appears to be a difficulty selection function, video footage has been released teasing the gameplay on offer in a tank shooter level. Protovision has announced that they will be teaming up with Monty Boyd to release Muddy Racers, an action-packed single-screen racer with multiplayer capabilities. Providing 18 different tracks across 3 different environment settings, Muddy Racers is looking to be a quality release for the C64 with its championship competition mode, the ability to upgrade your car, and computer competitors with different driving personalities. Having access to an alpha version of the game, I can confirm that the driving mechanics are quite responsive, and the bouncy reaction of the cars when they bump into each other add an abundance of fun, especially when racing up against 3 of your friends. The game features plenty of nice little touches, such as the lap counter display when crossing the finishing line, and the slowing down of your vehicle when driving over mud puddles and rough terrain. A couple of months ago, Jake79 revealed on the Lemon 64 forum that he was working on New Rally X, a conversion of the Rally X arcade game. Jake has been somewhat actively working to improve the game based on feedback and assistance received from other Lemon 64 users, and has gotten to the stage where the game looks quite authentic to the arcade. I hope Jake will persist with the project through to completion, as it's looking quite interesting. The Megastyle team has released a 1-level demo of the Empire Strikes Back project that is exclusive to Patreon supporters of the Zap64 micro magazine. Graphically, the game is looking very good, and I can confirm that the control responsiveness of the speeder is quite tight and allows you to pull off the evasive maneuvers required to avoid getting hit by missiles. And don't worry about the current sound effect you hear for the speeder, it is just a placeholder for now. The Empire Strikes Back is a graphically enhanced port of the Atari 2600 game. To bring down the AT-ATs on screen, you can blast the head multiple times, or alternatively, you can wait for one of the hatches on the body to start flashing and bring the big machine down with just one precise hit. Carl Hornell and Bitmapsoft have worked together to bring you an exclusive and official release of Fungus 2, a previously unreleased sequel to the original Fungus game. Fungus 2 is an arcade-style game represented in an elevated 2.5-dimensional graphical perspective. Along with the ability to move left or right across the landscape, you can also move up and down the screen, as well as jump up onto ledges and over gaps. To complete each level, you need to collect all of the mushrooms and return back to your starting point within the given amount of time. Fungus 2 is readily available for free online, but collectors and people who prefer to load off physical media can head on over to Bitmapsoft to order your copy. Time to check out the demo of the month. Plethora is a horizontal scrolling space-themed shooter developed by Dr. Mortal Wombat. The game contains 20 levels and features 3 different upgradable weapons. The first thing that strikes you about the game is its clean, attractive graphical design that includes some nice 3-way parallax background scrolling. Killing enemies results in stars being left behind. Collecting these will result in the score multiplier being increased, allowing you to accumulate a higher score. The game instantly feels like it's a very well coded piece of software that exudes quality, and you can't help but being drawn into the game. There are plenty of power-ups to collect throughout the game, which goes a long way to help most players get through to the initial 6 or 7 levels without too much trouble, and then there is the option to continue your game after losing all your lives. Despite its initial addictive qualities, the game does struggle to keep the momentum going through to the later levels, as most of the same enemy types are repeated time after time, with the only difference being the number of enemies in attack waves and their speed. And at times some of the obstacles appear impossible to get through without losing a life. But this challenge shouldn't deter you from enjoying Plethora and going back to it for repeat plays until you complete all 20 levels. Plethora is available on a Name Your Own price basis from Dr. Mortal Wombat's itch.io page, and is well worth a small donation as a show of your appreciation. Nick Sherman from Arlosoft has been keeping himself busy with a handful of quick ports of Atari 2600 games. Freeway has a simple premise of trying to get your chicken safely across the road in order to score a point. The C64 version has included a one-player mode pitting you against the computer, but really this game is best suited to play with your younger child in a vain attempt to get them interested in your old hobby. Taz sees you moving up and down the screen, avoiding dynamite in order to gobble 20 items of each food course. This one is probably the weakest of this collection of ports. Fast food is a little more engaging, as you move your mouth character around, eating all the food items on screen except for the purple pickles, because pickles shouldn't be purple, should they? This one is a fun little score attack game. My favourite of the 4 ports would be Thunderground, a mix between the game's combat and Dig Dug. The goal on each level is to use your vehicle to dig tunnels in a way that will allow you to destroy the 6 nuclear bases at the top of the screen, while avoiding or shooting the tanks protecting the bases. Each level has a special token hidden in the dirt. Find and collect them to obtain score bonuses. Overall, this is a good collection of Atari 2600 ports, and even though the replay value on these is limited, they are all free from Arlosoft's itch.io page. For more in-depth coverage of these games, I recommend you take a look at Bastage B's 64K's recent video on these ports. Here's something a little different to the norm. Lukash is a prominent synthwave music artist who produces some great retro electric chiptunes. His latest release, We Are Stardust, is packed with some of the best crispy retro-inspired tunes that touch upon the themes of death and rebirth. You can check out the release via Spotify, iTunes or Bandcamp. But what makes this release interesting is that the physical editions of We Are Stardust contain a hidden track that is actually a C64 game that can be ripped to a WAV format and then converted to tape file. We Are Stardust, the game, is an arcade-style score chaser developed by Megastyle. You push the joystick up to jump over ground blocks or to collect the yellow icons hanging in mid-air. Push the joystick right to blast through the vertical walls. And joystick down to duck under mid-air blocks. Navigating these obstacles in succession will increase your score multiplier. If you crash into an obstacle, the game continues on, but with the score multiplier reset. Visually, We Are Stardust is quite impressive and runs at a very good pace, though you may want to play the game on a CRT monitor to fully appreciate how good it looks. Sonically, the game features a wonderful SID rendition of the track We Are Stardust, which is a pleasure to listen to. After a few plays, you'll notice that the obstacles are somewhat synced to the music, and I found that listening to the music rather than trying to memorise a course layout would be the key to accumulating a high score. When you complete a run, you are given a QR code that takes you to a form that allows you to submit your scores to an online Hall of Fame. The game only offers one course, but the overall production values along with the ability to submit your scores online does make the game an engaging affair, and I've had a good time trying to beat the scores recorded by some of my C64 friends. Megastyle has indicated that We Are Stardust will be made available as a digital release via their itch.io page in the upcoming months, so stay tuned. And that's a wrap on another C64 roundup. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I've been able to do a C64 roundup for 12 months in a row, as there's been enough interesting content to bring together for you. I'm not sure if there'll be a roundup for September, it depends on the content, but if there isn't, you can be rest assured that the series will return in October. Thank you to everyone who has supported RGN, stay safe and healthy, and until next time, bye for now.